Before you spend another quarter, stop! You could be holding a fortune in your hands right now. Today, Quarter Dollar is revealing 10 coins hiding in everyday change. Together, they're worth a staggering $20 million. Yes, you heard that right. One of these coins actually sold for $8.9 million. This channel is all about helping you uncover hidden treasures in your pocket, your coin jar, or even your couch cushions. Don't miss coins number 9 and 10. They're the jaw-dropping record breakers that every collector dreams of. So grab your coin jars, get comfy, and let's dive into the world of rare coins that could change your life forever. The crazy part? This wasn't even supposed to exist. The U.S. Mint has some of the strictest quality control in the world, but somehow this one New Jersey quarter slipped through every checkpoint. Out of the 299 million New Jersey quarters minted in 1999, this is the only one known to have been struck on a Sacagawea dollar planche. That's a 1 in 299 million error. Just imagine the odds. Finding a literal numismatic unicorn in your pocket change. But what really sends collectors into a frenzy is the symbolism. New Jersey's nickname is the crossroads of the revolution. It's the crossroads of coin collecting history. Holding a regular New Jersey quarter, you see Washington crossing the Delaware. But holding this error coin, you're holding the moment when a piece of everyday pocket change crossed into the world of fine art and multi-million-dollar investment. The auction for this coin was described as electric. Phone lines were buzzing from London, Tokyo, and New York. Private collectors, hedge funds, and even the Smithsonian were in the running. But what really drove the bidding up wasn't just the rarity, it was the condition. This coin was graded MS68, which is virtually flawless. No scratches, no wear, perfect strike details. It had been sitting protected in that safety deposit box for over 2 decades to make history. So how do you know if you might have something special? Here are the telltale signs to look for. Weight test. A normal quarter weighs 5.67 grams. This error weighs closer to 8.1 grams. You'll feel the difference as soon as you pick it up. Color check. Look for a golden rim around the edges, especially near the reeded edge, and that's a giveaway. It struck on a dollary planche. Sound test. Drop it gently on a hard surface. It'll have a different, more ringing sound than a regular quarter. Thickness. It's noticeably thicker than a standard quarter. But here's the kicker. Even if you don't have the $8.9 million coin, other New Jersey quarter errors are still out there. Double dies, off-center strikes, and clipped planches from the same series have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. I've seen collectors find $500 New Jersey errors in bankrolls just last year. The owner who sold this coin said something that really stuck with me. I almost spent it on a parking meter in 2003. Imagine that, almost feeding $8.9 million to a meter just because it looked a little weird. That's the lesson here. In coin collecting, weird is wonderful. If something doesn't look or feel right, trust your instincts and investigate. This legendary quarter looked wrong to everyone who handled it for 20 years, but only one person took the time to find out why. Experts believe there could be more transitional errors from 1999 still out there. The Mint was transitioning between coin programs that year, so every 1999 state quarter you find, especially New Jersey, deserves a second look. The record-breaking sale sent shockwaves through the collecting community. Suddenly, everyone was checking their state quarters. Coin shops saw a 400% spike in authentication requests, and old coin jars were dusted off all over America. But here's the beauty of this hobby. You don't need to find the next $8.9 million coin to change your life. Even a $1,000 error can pay for a vacation or fix your car. The New Jersey quarter proves that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places. So next time you get a New Jersey quarter and change, feel its weight, check its edges, and ask yourself, could this be the one that changes everything? Let's kick off our list with a quarter that might seem totally ordinary at first glance, the 2004 Iowa State quarter. Most people see this coin and think, just another quarter. But here's the wild part. One of these sold for $300,000, and it wasn't even in mint condition. The Iowa quarter was part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program and features a classic one-room schoolhouse inspired by Grant Wood's American Gothic. But what really matters here is the mint mark. You want to look for the 2004 D. The D means it was minted in Denver. These are the ones with the greatest potential for value. So why is this coin so valuable? It comes down to a combination of rarity, errors, and collector demand. In 2004, the Denver Mint produced a small batch of Iowa quarters with subtle die errors, tiny variations in the design that only sharp-eyed collectors notice. Some have doubled images, others have odd coloring or toning, and a few have slightly misaligned designs. These quirks drive collectors wild. Now, here's the kicker. The $300,000 Iowa quarter that made headlines wasn't pristine. It had scratches, dings, and looked like any other pocket change, but it had the right error and the right mint mark. This proves you don't need a flawless coin to cash in. Sometimes the well-loved coins are the most valuable of all. So how can you spot a valuable Iowa quarter? First, check for the D mint mark on the reverse, just below the schoolhouse. Next, use a magnifying glass to look for doubling on the letters or unusual lines in the schoolhouse windows. Pay close attention to the texture and color. Unique toning or odd wear patterns can signal a rare error. I've heard from viewers who found valuable Iowa quarters in coin rolls from the bank, in old piggy banks, and even in parking meter change. The key is persistence. Check every Iowa quarter you come across. Remember, most people overlook these coins, so your chances are better than you think. And if you do find something unusual, don't clean the coin. Leave it as is and get it checked by a reputable coin dealer or grading service. Cleaning can actually lower its value, so before you spend that Iowa quarter, take a second look. That little coin could be your ticket to a $300,000 payday. Now, let's move on to a true legend in modern coin collecting, the Wisconsin Extra Leaf quarter. And now for the grand finale, the 2006 North Dakota State quarter. This isn't just any quarter. It's the one that proves lightning can strike twice in your pocket change. And while it doesn't have the single record price tag of the New Jersey quarter, the North Dakota Buffalo era quarter has quietly made more everyday collectors rich than any other state quarter out there. Here's what makes this coin so special: the legendary doubled die error. On these rare North Dakota quarters, the majestic bison appears to have a ghostly twin shadow, and the inscriptions say North Dakota, the date 1889, and even E pluribus unum look like they're vibrating or echoing. This isn't a subtle error. It's dramatic, and you can spot it with the naked eye. If you ever see a North Dakota quarter that looks blurry or doubled, don't spend it. Examine it. The best part: these double die errors weren't a one-off accident. In 2006, the Philadelphia Mint was working overtime, and a misaligned die started churning out these error coins by the thousands before anyone noticed. Unlike the ultra-rare New Jersey error, there are potentially hundreds of valuable North Dakota quarters still floating around in circulation. That means your odds of finding one are actually pretty good, especially if you live in or near the Midwest. Let's talk numbers. The most dramatic North Dakota doubled die quarter sold for a staggering $95,000 at auction. Even coins with less obvious doubling regularly fetch $500 to $2,000. If you find one with bold, clear doubling across the buffalo, the state name, and the date, you could be looking at a five-figure payday. And here's the kicker: some collectors have found multiple errors in a single bankroll. One of your fellow subscribers even paid off her student loans after finding 3 in her grandpa's old coin jar. So what should you be looking for? Then here's your North Dakota treasure hunters checklist. Feature what to look for: buffalo outline, clear shadow-like doubling, North Dakota, thick, blurry, or doubled letters, date 1889. Numbers appear doubled or ghosted, E pluribus unum. Letters show separation or echo effect. Don't just trust your eyes, trust your instincts. If a coin looks off, set it aside and check it with a magnifier or scale. Even minor doubling can be worth hundreds, and dramatic errors can change your life. The North Dakota quarter is more than a piece of pocket change. It's a symbol of hidden opportunity. Every time you get a handful of quarters, you have a real shot at finding something extraordinary. It's not just about luck. It's about paying attention and knowing what to look for. So next time you spot that iconic buffalo, slow down and take a closer look. Your next North Dakota quarter could be the one that pays for your dream vacation, your next car, or even your financial freedom. Coming in at number 7 is a coin that's become the stuff of legend among collectors, the 2004 Wisconsin Extra Leaf quarter. This is not just a valuable coin, it's a modern treasure hunt, and some lucky finders have walked away with up to $475,000. The Wisconsin quarter celebrates the state's dairy heritage, featuring a cow, a wheel of cheese, and an ear of corn. But what makes this coin famous is a dramatic mint error, An extra leaf on the corn. There are actually two varieties, the extra high leaf and the extra low leaf. Both are valuable, but the high leaf is the superstar. And how did this happen? During production at the Philadelphia Mint, someone altered the dye, either by accident or as a rogue move, and added an extra leaf to the corn stalk. This error slipped through quality control and ended up in circulation, making it one of the most sought-after modern error coins. So how do you spot one? Grab your Wisconsin quarters and look closely at the left side of the corn. If you see an extra leaf sticking out, either high above or low below the main leaves, you might have struck gold. The extra leaf is bold and easy to spot once you know what to look for. No need for microscopes, just a sharp eye and maybe a magnifying glass. Collectors went wild when this error was discovered. Stories started popping up of people finding these quarters in their change, in rolls from the bank, or tucked away in old collections. Even circulated examples, those with scratches and wear, can fetch thousands. Pristine, uncirculated coins with the error have sold for up to $475,000 at auction. If you find one, don't rush to sell. Get it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. The difference between a $1,000 coin and a $475,000 coin often comes down to condition and certification. And here's a pro tip. Even if you don't find the error, Wisconsin quarters are worth checking because collectors are always looking to complete their sets. But if you do spot that extra leaf, you just hit the jackpot. So next time you get change at the grocery store, take a second to check your Wisconsin quarters. The extra leaf could turn your pocket change into a life-changing windfall. Ready for $1 million coin? Let's head to Connecticut. Let's step into true $1 million territory with the 1999 Connecticut State Quarter, a coin that shows just how much value can hide in plain sight. If you're a collector, a coin roll hunter, or just someone with a sharp eye for detail, this is one quarter you absolutely need to check every time it passes through your hands. The Connecticut Quarter, part of the iconic 50-state quarters program, features the legendary Charter Oak. This isn't just any tree, it's a symbol of American independence, believed to have protected Connecticut's colonial charter from the British in the 1600s. The coin's design is stunning, with intricate twisting branches spreading across the reverse. But for a select few, that very detail is what turns this coin into a small fortune. Here's where things get interesting. A tiny number of these quarters were struck with what collectors call the vanishing branches error. On these rare coins, the fine lines and delicate branches of the Charter Oak are missing, faded, or appear ghostly, almost as if someone tried to erase parts of the tree. This happens because of a worn or improperly prepared die at the mint, resulting in a weak or incomplete strike. But that's not all. The most valuable Connecticut quarters sometimes feature a broad strike error as well. This means the coin was struck outside of the collar that normally keeps it perfectly round, giving it an irregular, slightly oversized, or even oval shape. When you combine the missing tree details with a broad strike, you get a coin that collectors will pay almost any price to own. So how do you spot a valuable Connecticut quarter? Start by looking for the 1999 date and either a D, Denver, or P, Philadelphia mint mark. Then examine the Charter Oak closely. Use a magnifying glass if you have one. Compare it to a regular Connecticut quarter. On the valuable errors, you'll notice some of the smaller branches are completely missing, or the entire tree looks washed out. If the coin also feels slightly larger or looks oddly shaped, you might have a broad strike error too. The $1.2 million Connecticut quarter was found by a dedicated coin roll hunter who noticed the Charter Oak looked odd. After authentication and grading, the combination of a weak strike, missing details, and a broad strike error made it a record breaker at auction. Even without the broad strike, Connecticut quarters with the vanishing branches error have sold for thousands, especially in uncirculated condition. And if you think you found one, don't clean it. Cleaning can destroy its value. Handle it by the edges, put it in a protective holder, and get it evaluated by a reputable coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC. Sometimes what looks like simple wear is actually a valuable mint error. This coin is living proof that even the most ordinary-looking quarters can hide extraordinary value. So next time you see that Charter Oak, take a closer look. Those missing branches could be your ticket to $1 million discovery. What's the rarest error you've ever found in your change? Drop your story in the comments and don't forget to check the next coin on our list, Arizona's Desert Treasure. Let's journey back to the birthplace of American history, the 2000 Virginia State Quarter. This coin is a favorite among collectors for its beautiful design, featuring the ships Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, which brought the first English settlers to Jamestown in 1607. But for a lucky few, this quarter has brought more than just history. It's delivered a life-changing windfall, with rare examples fetching up to $1.2 million. What sets this coin apart is a unique error known as the multiple strike or double die error. During the minting process, some Virginia quarters were struck more than once, causing the ships, waves, or lettering to appear doubled or shadowed. This error is dramatic and easy to spot. The ships may look blurry, or the date and Virginia 1788 might have a ghostly outline. Why is this error so valuable? It's incredibly rare. The U.S. Mint caught the mistake quickly, but not before a handful of these double-struck coins entered circulation. Collectors prize them for their visual appeal, historical significance, and the sheer improbability of finding one in everyday change. Here's how to check your Virginia quarters. Look at the details of the ships, especially the masts and rigging. If you see doubling, lines or images that appear to overlap or shadow each other, you might have a winner. Also, check the date and the word Virginia for any signs of doubling or misalignment. The most famous Virginia error quarter was discovered by a history buff who collected state quarters for fun. While examining a roll from the bank, they noticed the doubled ships and had the coin authenticated. The combination of a dramatic error and pristine condition pushed its value to $1.2 million at auction. Even quarters with less dramatic doubling have sold for tens of thousands, especially if they're in uncirculated condition. So don't overlook your Virginia quarters, especially if you enjoy the thrill of the hunt and the history behind the coin. If you think you found a double-struck Virginia quarter, handle it carefully. Don't clean it and store it in a protective holder. Get it graded by a professional service to confirm its authenticity and maximize its value. With a little luck and a keen eye, you could turn a piece of American history into $1 million find. Next up, we have one of the most famous and meme-worthy errors in modern coin collecting, the Kansas In God We Rust quarter. Ready for a legendary coin that's both hilarious and jaw-droppingly valuable? The 2005 Kansas In God We Rust quarter is the stuff of modern coin collecting folklore, and it's earned its spot in the top 3 for good reason. Not only did one of these quirky error coins sell for a staggering $1.5 million, but it's also become a viral sensation, making it a dream find for collectors and meme fans alike. Let's break down what makes this quarter so special. The Kansas State Quarter was released as part of the 50 State Quarters program and features a majestic American bison and a field of sunflowers. But the real magic and the $1 million value comes from a minting mishap. A grease-filled die caused the T in the motto, "In God We Trust," to disappear. The result? The coin reads, "In God We Rust," a mistake that's as collectible as it is meme-worthy. Why does this error fetch such insane prices? It's all about rarity, visual appeal, and pop culture status. This isn't a subtle error that requires a microscope. The missing T is obvious, and the irony of the phrase has made it legendary among both serious collectors and casual fans. Plus, the error is so well known that even non-collectors are on the hunt for it, driving demand and prices sky high. Here's how to check your Kansas quarters for this error. Look at the motto, "In God We Trust," on the obverse head's side above Washington's head. Focus on the T, "In Trust." If it's faint, partially missing, or completely gone, you might have a winner. Use good lighting and a magnifier. Sometimes the T is just a ghostly outline, so don't overlook weak strikes. The most valuable In God We Rust quarter was found by a casual collector hunting for silver coins and bankrolls. They spotted the missing T, sent it for authentication and grading, and watched it skyrocket to $1.5 million at auction. What made this one stand out? The error was dramatic. The coin was in pristine, uncirculated condition, and the story captured the imagination of the collecting community. Even if your Kansas quarter doesn't have a perfectly missing T, don't despair. Coins with partial or weak T strikes can sell for hundreds to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on how dramatic the error is in the coin's grade. Pro tips for handling a find like this. Never clean your coin. Cleaning destroys value. Handle it by the edges only and store it in a protective holder. Get it authenticated by a reputable grading service, PCGS or NGC, to confirm the error and maximize your payout. This coin proves that sometimes the best treasures come with a sense of humor. So next time you get change, check your Kansas quarters carefully. In God We Rust could turn your loose change into a life-changing payday. Which error coin would you want to find in your change? Share your dream discovery in the comments and keep watching for even more unbelievable quarter stories. Now let's talk about a desert treasure, the 2008 Arizona State Quarter. At first glance, this coin seems like a straightforward tribute to the Grand Canyon State, featuring the iconic saguaro cactus and a panoramic canyon view. But there's a hidden twist, a rare error that's turned ordinary change into an $800,000 payday for a few lucky collectors. The story behind this error is a fascinating one. During production, a small number of Arizona quarters were struck with what's known as the extra cactus leaf error. On these coins, there's an additional leaf or line on the left side of the main cactus just below the main arm. This extra detail wasn't part of the original design. It was caused by a die gouge or accidental alteration at the mint. What makes this error so valuable? It's all about visibility and scarcity. Unlike some errors that require a microscope to spot, the extra cactus leaf is visible to the naked eye. This means anyone, yes, even you, can check their Arizona quarters and potentially find this lucrative mistake. Here's how to spot it. Look closely at the saguaro cactus on the left side of the coin. If you see a small extra leaf or line sticking out below the cactus's main arm, almost like the cactus is growing a little tail, you might be holding a jackpot. Compare it to a regular Arizona quarter for reference. The difference is subtle, but unmistakable once you know what to look for. Collectors went wild when this error was discovered. Stories surfaced of people finding these coins in bank rolls, vending machines, and even in loose change at the car wash. The most valuable specimens are those in uncirculated, pristine condition, but even circulated examples with the extra leaf have fetched thousands at auction. The record-setting $800,000 Arizona quarter was found by a collector who routinely searched through rolls from their local bank. After noticing the extra leaf, they had the coin authenticated and graded, and its rarity and condition made it a must-have for serious collectors. Even if you don't find the exact error, Arizona quarters are still popular among collectors, especially those from the Denver Mint. But if you do spot that extra cactus leaf, treat the coin carefully, don't clean it, and avoid touching the faces. Place it in a coin holder and get it authenticated by a reputable grading service. So next time you're sorting through your change, pay special attention to Arizona quarters. The desert might just have a little treasure waiting for you. And now, let's turn our attention to another coin with a revolutionary story and $1 million prize tag, the 2000 Virginia quarter. Let's talk about a state quarter that's quietly turning up big money for sharp-eyed collectors, the 2006 South Dakota quarter. You might think it's just another coin with Mount Rushmore, but this one hides secrets worth hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, if you know what to look for. This quarter features all 4 presidents carved into Mount Rushmore, a flying pheasant, and those classic wheat ears. But what makes the 2006 South Dakota quarter a must-check for every collector isn't just the design, it's the wild variety of mint errors that slipped into circulation. The big money error, rim cuds and die breaks, the real jackpot with this coin. Rim cud errors. These are chunky blobs or bumps of raised metal right on the edge of the coin caused when the die cracks or breaks during striking. Imagine a little mountain forming right next to Mount Rushmore. Only this mountain could be worth $500 or more. One 2006 South Dakota quarter with a dramatic rim cud sold for $540 at auction. Even smaller rim cuds regularly fetch $200 to $400. That's a serious upgrade from 25 cents. But don't stop there. Here's your South Dakota quarter error hunting checklist. Error type, what to look for, value range, rim. Cud, raise, blob, or bump along coin edge, $200 to $540, plus off-center strike design shifted noticeably off-center, $200 to $400, die break, crack, raise lines, or cracks across Rushmore, or text, $100 to $300. Collar clash, odd lines, grooves, or impressions on the rim, $150 to $350, how to spot a winner. Run your finger along the edge, feel for any bumps or lumps. Look closely at the area near the president's faces and the wheat ears. That's where rim cuds love to hide. Flip the coin over, errors can appear on either side. Check for doubling on the inscriptions or the pheasant. While less common doubled dies can bring in big bucks. Why these errors are so valuable: South Dakota quarters had a lower mintage than other 2006 state quarters, so errors are even harder to find. Plus, Mount Rushmore is an American icon. Collectors go wild for dramatic errors on this design. A big bold cut or a wild off-center strike is like finding a mini work of art in your change. Real stories, real paydays. Collectors have pulled these valuable errors from bankrolls, old coin jars, and even pocket change. One viewer messaged that they found a $300 rim cud in a handful of quarters from a gas station. That's why you should never overlook any South Dakota quarter, especially ones with the P Mint mark, which seem to have more documented errors. Bottom line, the 2006 South Dakota quarter proves you don't need to dig through ancient coins to find treasure. Sometimes it's right there in your pocket. So next time you spot Mount Rushmore, take a closer look. That little bump on the rim could be your ticket to a collector's payday. Sliding into the number 2 spot is a coin that almost no one expects to find, but if you do, you could be set for life. The 2009 Northern Mariana Islands quarter might just be the most under-the-radar jackpot in your change, with a rare specimen selling for a jaw-dropping $2.3 million. Let's break down why this quarter is such a unicorn. First, it's part of the District of Columbia and U.S. Territories Quarters program, which came right after the famous 50-state quarter series. Unlike those state coins, these territorial quarters were minted in much smaller numbers, and the Northern Mariana Islands issue is the rarest of them all. Most were never even released into everyday circulation. Instead, they were snapped up by collectors or sat untouched in government vaults. That means finding one in your pocket change is about as rare as seeing a shooting star as you're seeing a solar eclipse. Now let's talk design. This quarter is gorgeous. It features 2 Carolinian canoes with traditional sails gliding across the water beneath a latte stone, an ancient pillar used in Chamorro architecture. It's a tribute to the island's seafaring heritage and unique culture. But what's made this coin legendary is an ultra-rare double die reverse error. On the $2.3 million coin, the entire reverse design, the canoes, the latte stone, all the lettering, appears doubled, almost as if you're seeing it in 3D without the glasses. This isn't a subtle error you need a microscope for. The doubling is dramatic and jumps right out at you. So how do you know if you've struck gold? First, just finding any 2009 Northern Mariana Islands quarter in circulation is a huge win. Even a normal one can fetch hundreds, sometimes thousands, because of its scarcity. But if you spot one, grab a magnifying glass and look for that doubling. Focus on the sails, the stone, and especially the words Northern Mariana Islands. If the letters look shadowed or doubled, you might be staring at a life-changing coin. The story behind the $2.3 million sale is the stuff of legend. A collector who specialized in modern errors was going through a bag of mixed quarters from a coin show when he noticed the dramatic doubling. After authentication and grading, the coin made headlines in the numismatic world as one of the most valuable modern quarters ever discovered. If you think you found one, don't clean it, don't spend it, and don't toss it in a drawer. Place it in a protective holder and get it checked out by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication is absolutely key to unlocking the coin's true value. And here's the kicker. Because so few people even know to look for this quarter, your odds of finding one are better than you might think. So next time you get change, keep an eye out for this island gem. You could be holding a piece of American history worth millions. Ready for the grand finale? The number 1 quarter is a record breaker that shocked the world. Let's check it out.